they call Lucky Charm. Got my own shit, I don't need your farm. Life was so hard, it made me weak.
Apparently it was a little tight on the music today. I don't know where that came from. We got halfway through the song on the music, but welcome into the show this morning. That wasn't the normal start as you know it. It wasn't for me either. I don't know what's going on, but welcome to the show, Steve Greenfield. We are live and ready to rock.
A little caffeine for the morning. Here we go.
Man, that just came in hot. I don't know what was going on with my trigger pad. You know, it's a weird one every morning. But man, Steve, thanks for joining us this morning. I know that you're always on the move. Where are you today? Some people may recognize where you're at.
You might recognize that building behind me. I mean, my head's in the way here, but that might look familiar to some folks. They call it the pagoda up here, not surprisingly. But maybe we should have people guess where I am today. So somewhere in the Midwest, and it involves racing.
I like it. We'll leave it for the guests. And if you know where he's at and you're only listening to the audio, hit us at Crew at Asodu. Maybe we'll like send you a sticker or something. We'll see.
Yeah. Good plan. I like that.
There you go. Hey, before we get into the show today, just want to mention, we've been dropping all of these podcast episodes on our In the Dirt podcast from the NAMAD conference. And yesterday we dropped a podcast, interview that we got to do with Julie Herrera, who is an incredible dealer, one of the largest Toyota dealers in the country, talking about giving back to others and just her passion for things that are all about people. So Julie is one of those people after our own heart. Do you know Julie, Steve?
I don't. I've heard her name a number of times, but I don't think I've ever met her.
You would absolutely love her, and she's smart as can be, but cares and has an incredibly huge dealership. So you can imagine what it takes to be one of the largest Toyota dealerships in the country. So, all right, let's get into it. We've got a few stories for you here this morning. The news cycle is a little bit tough, but we'll get to it. Volkswagen CEO Oliver Blume is on a collision course with Germany's powerful labor union IG Metall as VW considers job cuts and plant closures to reduce costs. They may be ending a 30-year-old job security agreement and close these plants in Germany. They haven't closed a plant since 1988. And the union is vowing to, quote, fiercely resist any closures. VW Works Council head Daniela Cavallo says the upcoming worker management meeting will be very uncomfortable. We know a little bit about that here in the U.S. Analyst Matthias Schmidt commented, if Blume can make the move stick, decades of past CEOs will feel vindicated. So there's a little bit of tough blood over there in Germany going on right now. One that we kind of know about a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see more of this globally, right? I mean, I think that the compounding of the threat of the Chinese coming into markets like Europe and, combined with the questions around the movement from ICE to electrification. And, a lot of these manufacturers, Volkswagen included, have to step back a few steps, right? I mean, Volvo, we heard earlier this week as well. But, that combination and, Volkswagen, most notably, has spent billions of dollars on their software division, Cariad, and now they've laid off, 1,000 of their software developers. So I think that the big automakers are going to be feeling the heat here. They're going to need flexibility with labor, and that's going to run headlong into some of these unions. And you're going to see more of this. This is only the beginning.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And even as like the EU is starting to totally change their tune on how they're handling tariffs and bringing vehicles from Chinese manufacturers, including Tesla. So there's just going to be pressure from net new OEMs because the EU is willing to kind of play ball and reduce costs for those coming into that area. So you're going to see, I think you're going to see more and more of this, like cost-cutting measures and potentially unions. We saw this last year with the UAW, and then actually there was a story today that the Ultium plant in Tennessee is partnering with the UAW. So you got something different happening on U.S. soil, right? We're going to see this battle over these next couple of years for sure.
Totally agreed.
Speaking of a little bit of a battle.
Stop. Segue.
Time. consumers are starting to have a battle in their minds with whether or not they want to shop online. It seems like cybersecurity is becoming a lot more important. We know a thing or two about that in auto. With 80% of consumers expressing concerns in a survey by Experian, the data shows dealerships need to prioritize security, obviously, in their digital retail platforms as online fraud and data breaches arise. Identity theft is obviously a top concern for consumers. The digital processes at dealerships have become targets for fraudsters due to weak cybersecurity. So things like digital retail or anything online retailing being targets because of the lower security measures taken by them. The survey shows that consumers want digital retail tools to take cybersecurity seriously. Things like adding physical biometrics, PIN codes, behavioral biometrics, security questions, and passwords. Because they said Kanchana Sundaram, I'm going to mess that up, at Experian said consumers want easy, secure transactions with trusted brands like Amazon. Interesting that the Amazon word was thrown in there with retail transactions.
Yeah, imagine that. Listen. I think that we've breached Pandora's box here, right? The CDK payout, and we don't know what that is, but it's got to be in the tens of millions of dollars to these sort of black hat operators overseas. Has opened the eyes of probably the world, hackers around the world, to say, hey, automotive is a big space, right? We've had some dealer breaches as well. They've been a little bit of hush-hush, but at this point, I think that there's going to be much more aggressive phishing scams for all employees at dealerships. I mean, you know better than me. I mean, the deep fakes now, both audio and video, are getting much sophisticated. So, if a BDC rep gets a voicemail from the general manager, and it sounds like the general manager asking them to go online and buy some Amazon gift cards or something, this is going to be very, very common. And, there's going to be all kinds of challenges, I think, from phishing scams, email phishing scams, et cetera. And we've only just started seeing the beginning. And I think now the hackers around the world suddenly say, oh, automotive, interesting. It's like you've got a lot of frontline employees at a dealership who aren't necessarily schooled on state-of-the-art phishing scams that are vulnerabilities into their systems. And I think that the software vendors out there should be very concerned. Dealer groups should be very concerned. And I think, honestly, as sad as it sounds, we've only seen the beginning here.
Yep. Well, and if you think about even just the digital retail transaction, this desire for an end-to-end purchase process that's available online, right? Just the, what's the login authentication? What's the documentation authentication? Are we using things like Clear? Are we using things like Bank Connect that have a lot of authentication procedures? Are we requiring 2FA in our digital transactions? Are we, especially like pass keys, not passwords, where biometrics are involved? Like these are things that I think, especially software providers and then dealers should be asking of their software providers if they're developing to, because when you get that golden thing in the sky of here's a transaction and it can be submitted to a bank and a loan executed on a clean transaction, like what was done to put in place the measures of risk on credit and of the transaction data and all of that. So it stretches in both ways and something we should just be keenly aware of. But like you said, it's Pandora's box, which is it's a scary thing. So
it's a new world. It's a new world out there for sure.
Yep. Speaking of being a new world.
Stop. Segue.
Time.
Did you ever think your car could be impounded not for something that you did wrong, but someone else did wrong? Tesla's Sentry mode is gaining attention in Oakland as police are utilizing the technology to aid investigations. Initially designed to catch Tesla-related crimes, it is now helping police capture general crime scene footage. So Tesla launched the Sentry mode in response to break-ins in 2018 and 2019, and uses Tesla's existing cameras to record around the car while it's parked. It's been pivotal in solving like vandalism and other non-car related crimes. But now police are towing Tesla vehicles to retrieve footage when owners are unavailable. So just like can't get the owner, go get the car, go get the footage. Sergeant Ben Tharault of the Oakland Police Department admitted this practice may seem extreme, but justified when evidence is crucial.
Yeah, this is very big, brother. This isn't going to work because, okay, let me draw an analogy. So, hey, Cal, you get a call from the local police department and they say, hey, you guys were out for dinner last night and at the restaurant there was a crime committed. Can you bring in your phone because we want to log in and see if there's any footage off your phone that might help us with the case? I mean, it's just not going to work at all, right? So you can't go confiscate a neighbor's car who had nothing to do with the crime just because their car happened to be co-located with the crime scene and might have video. I mean, I could see them going and negotiating with Tesla maybe to get the consumer's permission to get video, but you can't go like tow a car that was unassociated with the crime. So, I mean, this is going to be amazing to see play out, but this is going to like emerge some serious consumer privacy rights.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, this is similar to like anything that, that police are trying to get access to from a camera perspective. Any footage. Actually, our producer right now is typing some notes to me that Ring cameras stopped providing footage due to police due to privacy concerns as well. Yeah. So I think that this will be reverted quickly. But it's again like the Pandora's box of having basically a device on wheels now with these new technologies in all of these cars. Like there has to be regulation around all of the technology. What data is getting shared with insurance companies. We've had conversations about that. Now video footage, it's just going to be something that you're going to see regulators kind of have to get their hands around on who has access to what data and what privacy concerns are still lingering out there.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, I hadn't thought of this ahead of time, but your stories 2 and 3 today are intertwined, right? I mean, there's more data being produced out there, which is a good thing. To your point, digital retailing is a real thing now. But as Peter Parker's Uncle Ben told him, with great power comes great responsibility. We've got bigger data perimeter that can be breached by hackers. And, I think it's a new world that we're entering. So for those that like big government or small government, we're going to need someone to oversee these regulations to make sure that as these devices, whether they're phones, cars, or, DMSs at dealerships produce more data, that we're protecting the consumer ultimately from like data breaches.
Yep, exactly. Well, hey, it's a whole new world, and with great power comes great responsibility. You have a great responsibility to not just care for employees, not just care for consumers, but think about all of these ancillary things that impact your business every single day. Pay attention, heads up, have fun.
Right.